Hello and welcome to the new analysis video. This time we analyze the first leg of the Champions League quarterfinal between Real Madrid and Manchester City. The match was a very funny one to watch, and there were also some interesting tactical points in the match. So let's take a closer look. Here is the starting 11 of both teams and how they lined up on the pitch. Real Madrid played mostly in a 4-4-2 diamond formation. Manchester City played in the familiar 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 formation. First, let's see how Manchester City attacked at the start of the match. When they had control of the ball, John Stones came on in midfield alongside Rodri. Defensive line, they had 3 players against Real Madrid's 2 strikers. In midfield, they tried to make a box or diamond shape with the help of Kovacic and Foden. They played in a really small space packed in the middle, and it also forced Real Madrid to come into a very small area, and that made it easy for them to defend. Here are a few situations from the first half. Here is City's basic shape and positioning as they control the ball. 3 central defenders and a diamond in midfield. Grealish and Bernardo Silva wide and Haaland in the middle. They struggled to break Real Madrid's compact shape in the first half. When Real Madrid actively pressed, space came between the lines and they would have had a chance to use the space they created, but City were not very good at it. Also, because they were very static, it was easy for Real Madrid to defend man-to-man, and City couldn't create their typical positioning or man advantage situations anywhere. They also defended very disciplined as individuals, and Valverde in particular did a great job and helped the team defend really well. As mentioned, Manchester City had a bit of trouble getting into good scoring positions, although they controlled the ball. They managed to create a few situations through the wings, but they could not create any real danger in the middle. Sure, Real Madrid defended well too, but maybe it was also easier than usual against a team of Manchester City's level. Citizens made slight changes to their attacking formation in the second half, and let's take a closer look at that. In the second half, John Stones moved much higher up between the Real Madrid defense and midfield line. Phil Foden started to move into a very large range at the attacking end, and Mateo Kovacic was no longer always moving into the center, but came much more wide. Rodri played alone at the bottom of midfield. The changes forced Real Madrid to defend in a larger area, and also forced strikers Vinicius and Bellingham to drop down more to help defend. The changes allowed City to make better use of the central area, and they were also able to eliminate some of Real Madrid's counter-attacking threat. Here you can see how Stones, Foden and Kovacic are positioned in the second half, and also how they were able to create an unbalance in Real Madrid's defensive shape, especially thanks to Phil Foden's dynamic movement. They were also able to find free players in the central zone by controlling the ball for long periods and moving the ball quickly from the center to the flanks and back, and this also allowed them to score 2 great goals. There was a bit about Manchester City's attack and how they adapted their attacking play as the game progressed. Lastly, let's take a look at a bit of how Real Madrid attacked in the match. As mentioned earlier, they defended compactly and were always ready to counter attacks. Let's take a closer look at why they were so dangerous at times. In this first clip, you can see why Real Madrid's attacks were so dangerous. Lots of space to run with the ball and big spaces behind Manchester City's defensive line. Vinicius and Rodrigo, as skillful and quick players, were also able to easily break through City's transition press, and City's 3 center-backs were lacking in organized defending. Manchester City was even losing these kind of 2-on-1 situations easily, and after that Real Madrid's attackers had a lot of space to play again. Here is a similar situation that led to the goal. Another quick strike into the back by the Madrid attackers. And one more. A good win in the middle area, and after that quickly to the back with the first pass. Great play from Real Madrid. Let's look at some stats from the game. The goal expectation was not high for either team, even though we saw a lot of goals. That was of course because the goals were almost all scored with great shots from distance. Otherwise, after the first 20 minutes of intense play, the match followed the expected scenario, and the same will surely be repeated in the second leg. where this result left big and great stakes. Thank you for watching. See you next time.